Imagine holding a contract in your hands worth billions of dollars. Not millions, billions. Wealth that could rival the GDP of small nations. Wealth that would make the fortunes of Rockefeller and Gates look like pocket change. Now, imagine tearing that contract into pieces simply because you wanted to help a friend. This is not a fable. This is the tragic, true reality of Nikola Tesla, the man who invented the 20th century, the genius who electrified our planet, did not die in a palace surrounded by luxury. He died alone in a small hotel room, destitute and forgotten, feeding pigeons while the world outside glowed with the electricity he gave them. To understand the end, we must understand the beginning. Born during a lightning storm in what is now Croatia, Tesla was a child of light. He recalled a pivotal moment in his youth while stroking his pet cat, Macaque. He saw a shower of sparks fly from the animal's fur. When he asked his father what this was, he was told it was electricity, the same force that created lightning. It was a revelation that would haunt him. He wondered if nature was just a giant cat to be stroked by God. From that moment, he became obsessed with mastering this invisible, untamed force. He arrived in New York in 1884, a tall, striking figure with virtually nothing in his pockets, just 4 cents and a letter of recommendation addressed to Thomas Edison. The letter was brief and legendary. "I know 2 great men, and you are one of them. The other is this young man." Tesla stepped onto American soil not as a businessman, but as a visionary. He believed that America was the land where ideas were currency, unaware that in the Gilded Age, the only currency that truly mattered was gold. The meeting of minds between Tesla and Edison was destined to be a collision. Edison championed direct current, or DC, a system that was inefficient and required power stations every few miles. Tesla proposed alternating current, or AC, a system that could transmit power over vast distances. Edison, threatened by the superior technology, dismissed Tesla's ideas as dangerous. When Tesla solved a complex engineering problem for Edison under the promise of a $50,000 bonus, Edison laughed in his face, calling it American humor. Tesla, a man of honor who took words literally, quit immediately. The genius found himself digging ditches for $2 a day just to survive. But genius cannot be suppressed forever. George Westinghouse, an industrialist with the foresight Edison lacked, saw the potential in Tesla's AC motors. He bought Tesla's patents and offered him a contract that sounds fictitious by modern standards. Westinghouse agreed to pay Tesla $60,000 in cash and stock,
plus a royalty of $2.50 for every horsepower of electricity sold. It was a deal that, if fully realized, would have made Nikola Tesla not just a wealthy man, but the world's first billionaire. The so-called war of currents was brutal. Edison electrocuted animals publicly to smear EC technology as deadly. But efficiency won out. In 1893, at the Chicago World's Fair, Tesla and Westinghouse illuminated the night, proving to the world that alternating current was safe and superior. Following this triumph, they harnessed the mighty Niagara Falls. It seemed Tesla had won. He was the toast of high society, dining with kings and artists, finally seeing his vision light up the globe. But victory came at a staggering financial cost to Westinghouse.
The battle against Edison and the massive investment in infrastructure had drained Westinghouse's resources. By 1907, the financial panic hit. Investment bankers, the sharks of Wall Street, circled the struggling company. They demanded a merger and restructuring. Their ultimatum was clear. The company had too many liabilities, and the biggest liability of all was the royalty contract with Nikola Tesla. The bankers told Westinghouse that if he didn't get rid of that royalty obligation, they would let his company sink.
George Westinghouse came to Tesla with a heavy heart. He explained the situation honestly. He told Tesla, "Your decision determines the fate of the Westinghouse company." If Tesla insisted on his legal rights, he would become incredibly rich. But the company and the vehicle for spreading their AC system to the world would go bankrupt. The dream of affordable electricity for everyone would be delayed or destroyed by bankers who only cared about profit, not progress.
This is the moment that defines the tragedy of Tesla's idealism. He looked at Westinghouse and said, "Mr. Westinghouse, you have been my friend. You believed in me when others had no faith." Without hesitation, Tesla picked up the contract, a piece of paper that over time would have yielded royalties worth billions in today's money, and tore it to shreds. He chose to save his friend's company. He chose the proliferation of his technology over his own personal fortune. He literally threw away an empire to keep the lights on. Westinghouse was saved, but Tesla was left without a steady stream of income. Yet, his mind never stopped. He poured his remaining funds into his most ambitious project yet, Wardenclyffe Tower. His goal was not just to transmit power without wires, but to create a world wireless system, a precursor to the internet and radio combined. He believed he could send voice, pictures, and unlimited free energy to any point on the globe through the Earth itself. He approached the financier J.P. Morgan for funding,
selling it as a radio communication system.
But the sharks were always waiting. When Marconi sent a radio signal across the Atlantic using 17 of Tesla's own patents, J.P. Morgan lost interest in Tesla's expensive tower. Furthermore, when Morgan realized Tesla intended to provide free energy to the world, he famously asked, "If anyone can draw on the power, where do I put the meter?" Funding was cut. The tower was foreclosed upon and eventually dynamited for scrap metal to pay Tesla's debts. It was a crushing psychological blow from which he never truly recovered.
As the decades passed, the man who once dined with high society retreated into the shadows. He moved from hotel to hotel, leaving when he could no longer pay the bills. His eccentricities hardened into severe obsessive-compulsive disorder. He became obsessed with the number 3, hated pearls, and would clean his dining utensils with 18 napkins. The media, once his champion, now mocked him as a mad scientist, making wild claims about death rays and communicating with Mars.
In his final years, his only true companions were the pigeons of New York City. He spent what little money he had on birdseed, nursing injured ones back to health in his hotel room. He spoke of one specific white pigeon with a peculiar intensity. He said, "I loved that pigeon as a man loves a woman, and she loved me. As long as I had her, there was a purpose to my life." He claimed that when she died, a brilliant, intense light came from her eyes, a light more powerful than any machine he had ever built. On January 7th, 1943, in the height of World War II, Nikola Tesla died in his sleep in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. He was 86 years old, alone and penniless. He left behind no fortune, only a massive debt and trunks full of technical papers. Immediately upon his death, the U.S. Office of Alien Property seized his belongings. The government classified his research, fearing his death ray or other inventions could fall into enemy hands. The man who gave everything had his life's work confiscated by the very system that let him starve.
Nikola Tesla was not a businessman. He was a creator in the purest sense. He tore up the contract, not because he was foolish, but because his currency was not money, it was progress. Today, every time you flip a switch, charge a phone, or look at the city skyline at night, you are living in the world Tesla envisioned. He sacrificed his wealth, his health, and his sanity to bring fire to mankind. He may have died in the dark, but because of him, the rest of us will never have to. Follow me and come back soon. I'll tell you about other figures who are just as influential as Nikola Tesla in shaking the world. Until next time, bye.